This video is about the 5 expensive mistakes of poor exit preparation. So these are the things you want to avoid as you're preparing to bring your company to market, as you're building your business on the way to a strategic exit or a transition or a sale of your business. So my name's Kevin Murray, and this is being brought to you by Energize Your Business and the Business Seller Center. So we want to maximize your business value. And to do that, you got to avoid these very expensive mistakes on your way to a strategic exit preparation. So there's things to do in advance to get you ready to maximize your deal value. So I'm going to jump right in and share the 5 mistakes you want to avoid, but I'll also share with you the cure for each of these mistakes. So number 1 is selling in a hurry. If you've got to sell anything in a hurry, think about like you got to sell your car this week. The buyers are going to smell that. They're going to pick up on that. So it's the same whether you're selling your car, your house, or your business. If there's any sense that you got to do this in a hurry, you're not allowing the market to really value you at the top price. And you're going to take a haircut there. So you don't want to sell in a hurry. The cure to that is start doing some exit preparation now so that if anything happens in life where you do need to sell in a hurry, you're prepared for it. So a lot of companies just fold. A lot of companies don't have a successful exit going to market because they haven't done the preparation. The numbers are really kind of grim for businesses that have strategic, successful exits. Again, a lot of them have to sell in a hurry. Number 2, if you have owner-centric sales or owner-centric operation, the buyer is going to look at your business and walk away with the sense of like, wow, they're just buying your job. If you have to be there all the time, if you can't take holidays, that's a big clue. If you can take holidays periodically and your business still runs and generate earnings, that's way more valuable than a business that you have to be there, 24/7, 365. So the way to fix that is we start building your systems. We start looking at and documenting how you do sales, how you do your operation, and we consider hiring and staffing over time to put people in place that can take care of some of those things. That makes your business more valuable. Number 3 is if you have client or market-centric earnings. If all your earnings come from a couple big clients or just one market, that's not as valuable to a business that's spread their client base, their marketing, their sales over a number of different industries and markets. So that could hurt you. But the cure to that is to expand your marketing, expand your client base. And the quickest way to do that is through partner marketing. And the idea of that is you look at the markets you want to be in, you look at who's been serving those markets for 10, 20 years, and you develop relationships with them where they'll introduce you to their clients. That's been the key to how I've grown my businesses and my client companies over the last 30 years. So we can spend more time offline talking about that if that makes sense for you. Number 4 is underdeveloped earnings potential. A lot of times we just get stuck in the market that we're serving, the clients we have, and that's going to, again, give you a bit of a haircut at the closing table because another business buyer is going to say, wow, we could grow this, we could do that, but you haven't, so you don't get the benefit for it. So the cure to that is to look at new markets and particularly adjacent markets that are similar but not quite who you're serving, but might be easy to reach. Again, we partner that with the partner marketing, and you can create great results really quickly. The 5th item is you don't have any standard operating procedures for your selling, your HR, operations, your marketing, all the critical things. If the business is just in your head as the owner, it's not worth as much as a company that's got well-documented systems and processes where the buyer can put a manager in place to run the business. So one of the things that I'll be offering at the end of this video is an exit readiness assessment. So that's a way for you to take a look at your company and see if there's any gaps between where you are and where you could be that's going to improve your position as a seller taking your company to market. So why are we even having this conversation? Well, again, it's about maximizing the selling price when you sell your business. Now, most buyers and sellers evaluate a business sale by multiplying earnings, annual earnings times some kind of multiplier. And the multiplier is inversely related to the risk. So you think about publicly traded companies on the stock market, they have P to E multiples, so that's their price to their earnings. That could be 20, 30, 50, 100 times, these big multipliers, because they're not seen as really, really risky. On the other hand, a small business that doesn't have really good systems or owner-centric earnings, you might get 1, 2, 2.5 times your earnings. So we want to increase both your earnings and the multiple that's going to get applied to your business when the market's looking at you. So the present situation where I meet a lot of business owners is they really haven't built their business with the best buyers in mind. That's a critical thing that you can start doing right away, and I'm happy to talk with you about that. The best buyers are going to have great confidence in their ability to continue your business and grow your earnings. That means there's a low perception of risk to them. So buyers who have greater confidence will offer more for your business versus a buyer that looks at your business and can't quite see how you operate the business. It's all in your head and they can't understand it. They might be interested in the business, but they're not going to pay you as much. And the best way to give the best buyers confidence is by having systemized and documented the most important sales, marketing, fulfillment, HR, operations, like all the processes in your company. So imagine they open a book and it's like, here's how we do everything. So I'm going to do two illustrations here. One is we'll say an unprepared seller that's got to go to market. They're earning $500,000, but they only get a multiplier of 2 because the perception of risk is saying it's only worth 2. They're not very well outlined in their process and procedure. They're owner-centric in their selling and operations. So that business is worth $1 million. Now, here's the possibilities that we begin now to explore this exit preparation process so that in 6 months or a year or two, you've figured out some of these things. So we're going to assess how well you're systemized and documented. We're going to look at sales and marketing opportunities. And when we see a gap, when you identify a gap, you can put some attention on filling that gap. That's going to build your value. Part of that, again, is start thinking like a buyer that helps you become a better seller. So obviously, we want to create and organize your standard operating procedures. We want to look at where and how you can grow your earnings. So again, let's say we take that same business, but the seller has prepared in the last year. We've increased earnings to $750,000 from $500,000. We've improved the multiple from 2 to 3 because we've reduced the risk and the perception of risk from the buyers. Well, that business is now worth $750,000 times a multiplier of 3. That's $2.25 million versus $1 million. So this applies again in any kind of industry, but that's a big difference to do a little bit of preparation on your business. So one of the things that we really want to be focusing on is growing your earnings. So we want to build your systems and documents and processes. That's half of the equation. The other part of it is growing your earnings. And there's really 3 key factors that are going to help you grow your earnings. When we multiply those 3 factors together, that's where you get your earnings. So I'm going to go through this math fairly quickly here with an illustration, but if you want to break it down to look at your particular company and your industry, again, let's set up a call and we'll go through this together. So the 3 factors, the number one thing is the quantity of new opportunities or proposals that you get in front of clients. So I like to think of that as like shots on goal. The more shots on goal, the better. Number 2 is how many score. So that's the percentage of your proposals, your presentations, your client meetings that turn into paying clients. Number 3 is your average earnings per client, per deal, per new engagement. So we multiply those 3 things together. Let me give you a baseline example here. If you do 100 proposals in a year and you close 40% of those, that's 40 deals a year. And if you make $12,500 in profit on each deal on average, that multiplies out to $500,000 in profit. Now, what I want to show you is that if we can improve each of those three factors by just 15%, your profit increases by 52%. So we're going to compound increase in each of these factors, and we're going to do this again. And again, the math's really, really compelling. But if you're doing 100 proposals a year and we can get you to do 115, that's like one more a month. That's not a huge, huge difference. You probably have the capacity and the team to do that. That's a good change right there. But if we can also increase your closing rate from 40% up to 46%, so that's a 15% bump. It's not 40 to 55%. It's not adding 15%. It's improving it by just 15%. We're going to get you to 46% close rate. We're going to build your average profit up from 12.5 to 14,375. When we multiply the three of those together, you're up to $761,000 in profit. Now we're doing 53 deals, so we're making a little bit more money on them. So that versus the $500,000, that's another $261,000 in profit. That's 52% growth. And we can do that in a second period, which could be a 6-month period, it could be a year. But if we have another period where we're going ahead by doing that 15% increase and improvement in these three factors, we do the math, you end up with $1.1 million in profit. So we've added $600,000 in profit. That's 131% growth. More than double your earnings by just doing these 15% improvements, but compounded over time. And that can happen in a year or two. So for most folks at this point, the question is, would I like to build my earnings? Do I want to make more money? Do I want my company to be more valuable? It's really like, how do I do that? So how to do that? Well, I've got a really fully fleshed out client engagement model that includes a lot of different components. What I usually do with an individual client is we'll pick a couple of these from each category, but this is a way we look at how to tell your story better, how we get your business in front of new clients, what happens when they hear about you, how you present to them. It's the sales, the marketing, the presentation, the closing. It's how you engage your clients. It's a whole system that I build for you in your company. And the result of that is we grow your sales and we grow your earnings. So who is this Kevin Person? So I've been a consultant and a coach since 2001, and I've been helping people get ready to exit their business and transition and sell their businesses. The focal points of my work with clients are their energy, their strategy, and their growth. So I started a company called Sebago Energy back in 1992. It was a solo startup, and over a bunch of years I grew the company. I had a team I built up in Maine. I moved to Connecticut, had an office in Connecticut. At one point, had offices Connecticut, Maine, and Florida, and we were doing projects in 20 states around the country, big commercial, industrial projects. So I learned a whole lot about growing and scaling, created a multi-million-dollar company from scratch. Since then, I've taken what I've learned in my business experience, and I've helped other businesses in probably 30, 40 different industries learn how to do the same things. And I teach them the systems. In a lot of cases, I just do it for you. I create the presentations, I train your salespeople, I put together the documentation. So again, we can talk about what's possible for your business. I've got a lot of client testimonials. Here's just a handful of them. But what they generally have in common is I'm helping them with their mindfulness, their mentalness, their mental agility, that looking at their company and challenging themselves, but also helping them grow their businesses, grow their earnings, make more money, and build their business value. Another thing about me, I'm what I call an artist of the spirit. So I do these sacred journeys to the pyramids just about every year. I've been going, and I bring groups there. And we talk about life and love and service, and it's a wonderful, wonderful thing that I love to do. And I've been helping my clients with mindfulness and meditation for a long time. So we can talk about that if you want. So at this point, if this is kind of resonating for you a bit, the question obviously is, well, what's next? Now what? So I would recommend you take that readiness assessment, and that'll trigger a conversation that we can have. And if we have a few conversations and we talk about your business and we agree to work together, we'll start working on growing your earnings and we'll increase your multiple. That'll increase your business value. And I've got this great small print bonus down here. So up to $30,000 worth of consulting fees will be refunded to you at closing when you work with me, one of my brokers, to take you to the market. And we're successful in doing that. So we'll keep track of your investment, we'll register your savings, but you can get up to $30,000 worth of work for free, basically, if you let us take you to close and we're successful together. So it's a great way to get all this exit preparation done. And we kind of share in the upside. So it's a real performance-based concept that I haven't seen anybody else do in the business brokerage or exit preparation world. So thank you for taking a few minutes. Hopefully this provided some education and some inspiration for you, and feel free to reach out, do the readiness assessment, give me a call, shoot me an email, and we'll begin this conversation together. Thank you.